Cheating Husband Drama, Chapter 1, The Double Life. Jacob Reeves was the quintessential family man, or so it appeared. Married to his college sweetheart Elena for over a decade, they had built a seemingly perfect life together. 3 kids, a charming suburban home, and Jacob's thriving career gave the illusion of stability. But beneath the polished exterior, Jacob lived a double life. When Elena was busy managing their household or attending to their children, Jacob would retreat to his study. Behind the closed door, his phone buzzed incessantly. Texts, notifications from dating apps, and salacious photos dominated his screen. He was addicted to the thrill, to the validation he received from strangers. One of his regular connections was a woman who called herself Lilith. She was enigmatic, bold, and unapologetic. Her messages often carried an air of poetic defiance. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, so I've been told. But life is filled with twists and turns you better served cold. I don't have regrets. Remorse is not a thing. But you know I love to have my way with countless, endless flings. Lilith's words fascinated Jacob. She seemed untouchable, like a siren calling him deeper into waters he couldn't navigate. Every message from her was a challenge, an invitation to explore a side of himself he kept hidden from his wife and the world. Chapter 2. The deception deepens. Elena was no fool. She noticed Jacob's increasing detachment and the way his phone was glued to his hand. The excuses, the late nights, and the evasive behavior, it all began to weigh on her. But she chose to bury her suspicions, focusing instead on her children and maintaining a semblance of normalcy. Jacob, meanwhile, grew bolder. His interactions with Lilith escalated. What began as flirtatious banter turned into explicit conversations and the exchange of intimate photos. He felt invincible, untouchable in his digital world. One night, as he texted Lilith, she sent a cryptic message. "You think you know who I am, Jacob? But do you? Life is full of surprises. Are you ready for mine?" Jacob's heart raced. He brushed it off as part of her enigmatic charm and continued their conversation. Chapter 3. A web of lies. Outside of his digital escapades, Jacob also engaged in physical affairs. He had a particular weakness for women who exuded confidence and danger, women like Lilith. But he was careful to compartmentalize his life, ensuring his affairs never intersected with his family. Lilith, however, was different. Her words haunted him. She wasn't just another fling. She had a way of getting under his skin. And yet, he continued their affair, oblivious to the storm brewing. Chapter 4. The Revelation. One evening, Jacob received an unexpected video call request from Lilith. He hesitated, but eventually answered. To his shock, the person on the screen wasn't the sultry woman he had imagined. Instead, it was a man smirking at Jacob's stunned expression. "Surprised?" the man asked. "You've been texting me this whole time." Jacob's world tilted. He stammered, unable to process what was happening. "Lilith was just a game," the man continued. "You thought you could play, but guess what? I play better." The call ended abruptly, leaving Jacob in a state of shock. His mind raced. What if this man had screenshots? What if he exposed Jacob's infidelity? The facade he had so carefully constructed was at risk of crumbling. Chapter 5, The Fallout. The revelation marked the beginning of Jacob's unraveling. The man posing as Lilith began blackmailing him, demanding money in exchange for silence. Jacob, desperate to protect his secret, complied, draining his savings and putting his family's financial stability at risk. Elena, noticing the sudden financial strain, confronted Jacob. At first, he lied, but the weight of his secrets became unbearable. One night, after the kids were asleep, he broke down and confessed everything. The affairs, the sexting, and the blackmail. Elena listened in stunned silence. Her heart broke as Jacob's betrayal came to light. But she wasn't just heartbroken, she was furious. She had sacrificed so much for their family, only to be met with deceit. Chapter 6. The Reckoning. Elena's response was swift. She filed for divorce, determined to protect her children and rebuild her life without Jacob. She confronted him with a steely resolve he hadn't seen before. "You've taken enough from me," she said. "Now it's my turn to take control." Jacob's double life was exposed, not just to Elena, but to friends and family. The shame was unbearable. The women he had cheated with disappeared, leaving him isolated. Even his career suffered as rumors of his infidelity spread. Chapter 7. A New Beginning. Elena, meanwhile, found strength in her newfound independence. She poured her energy into her children and her own aspirations, rediscovering parts of herself she had long neglected. As for Jacob, he was left to confront the wreckage of his life. The thrill he had chased so desperately now seemed hollow. He had lost everything: his family, his reputation, and his sense of self. In the end, Jacob's downfall was a lesson in the dangers of deception and the cost of living a double life. And for Elena, it was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of starting over. The story explores the consequences of deception and infidelity in a seemingly perfect marriage. Jacob Reeves, a family man living a double life, engages in digital and physical affairs, captivated by an enigmatic figure named Lilith. His secret world unravels when Lilith is revealed to be a man who blackmails him, threatening to expose his betrayals. This leads to financial ruin, emotional turmoil, and the collapse of his marriage. Jacob's wife, Elena, discovers his duplicity, confronts him, and ultimately chooses to rebuild her life independently, finding strength in her resilience. The narrative underscores the destructive nature of dishonesty and the transformative power of starting anew.